to my sons and daughters. In the previous, we have seen about the Islamic reforms, recap of the previous day and Islamic reforms. Now, a short recap before going to the topic of Deoband movement. Yes, Syed Ahmad Khan. He reformed the Muslim society through his views and ideals in his writing. Already said, learning the Western ideas and Western science and English is against the religion. So, for the well development for the women in the government service, he translated the Western science and Western ideas and English in Urdu language to learn easily. Because women should be educated. Women's was very low during the time. So to learn this and get the government or services, he translated many books into Urdu language. He was in favor of abolishing the Parda system and education of women. He propagated his views and ideals in his newspaper called Taril-ul-Akhlaq. His newspaper called Taril-ul-Akhlaq. How omnipresent in his New India, like that here, Syed Muhammad Khan, his views in Taril-ul-Akhlaq. What is the meaning of Taril-ul-Akhlaq? Reforms of views is called. He said Hindus and Muslims are the two eyes of a beautiful bird that was India. That's a very good thing. He done the immense service to uplift the Muslim. What is the meaning of yeoman service? Working always. He rendered his service to the uplift of the women's society. Now we are going on to the topic of Deoband movement. Deoband was a revelist movement organized by the Orthodox Muslim called Ulma. What do you mean by realized movement? To review what Syed Ahmad Khan said. All the women should learn the Western ideas, Western science and the English. But against this Deoband movement wanted the Muslim to learn in their Islamic language. They hate the English. The true Muslim will never learn the Western science and the English. They will learn in the Islamic way. That is the Deoband movement's main views called Ulma. So only they call Orthodox. The Ulma under the leadership of Muhammad Kazim Wantovi, 1832 to 80, and Rashid Ahmad Gangotri, 1828 to 1905. Founded the school at Deoband in Shahnapur district of UP, that means Uttar Pradesh, in 1866. The school curriculum shut out English. That rules of the schools, the school curriculum shut out English. How we are having each and every period Tamil English movement. Deoband movement. We move on to the topic of page number 58, Deoband movement. Deoband was a revelist movement organized by the Orthodox Muslim Ulma. What do you mean by revelist and Orthodox Muslim? Against how the Dravida Kadagam and all, against the Hindu religion. Like that here, the Deoband Orthodox Muslim Ulma. What and all the Syed Ahmad Khan brought. In what way to develop the uplift of the women's. How he made the Western culture, Western views and English in the Urdu writings. In his views have been said in Taril newspaper. So its Deoband movement is against that. Under the leadership of Muhammad Kazim Wantovi, 1832-1880. and Rashid Ahmad Gangotri, 1828 to 1903. Founded the school at Deoband in the Shahnapur districts of the UP in 1866. The school curriculum shut down English education. How in many schools they are the teachings of all the subject in English, all the subject in Tamil and Malayalam, Urdu, according to the area where the people live. Here, the Orthodox Muslims said, we shouldn't follow the English. We should follow the Islamic language only we should learn. The school curriculum shut down English education and Western culture. The instruction imparted was in original Islamic religion. Urdu only their Islamic religion. And the aim was moral and religious regeneration of the Muslim community. Maulana Muhammad Ud Azan became the new Deoband leader. The Jamaat ul Ulma Council of Theology, led by him, gave a concrete shape to Hazan ideas of protection of the religion and political rights of the Muslim in overall context of the unity. And Islamic Orthodox Muslim, we learn more points than the books now. Islamic for what is the way, worship of Almighty, and direct us attention away from God and teachings of prophet alone. That is the Orthodox main thing is to teachings of the proper teachings alone be taught. In Islam, Ulmanic or the guardian transmitters and interpreters of religious knowledge in Islam, including Islamic doctrine and law. They have long-standing traditions, are educated in religions. The Quran and Sunnah are the scriptural sources of traditional Islamic laws. The two books, Quran and Sunnah, are the sophisticated sources of the traditional Islamic law. Interpreters means what? A person who interprets, especially who had translated speech orient to sign languages. We move on now to the topic of the Parsi reform movement. Not much about this, familiar about this Parsi reform movement. In the middle of the 19th century, by the reform activities began in Mumbai, Furduchi Nauroji founded the Rahumal Mashyasham Sabha, Parsis Reform Society in 1851. Ross Dofter, that means truth teller, Unnaya Pesbavan, that Ross Dofter, the truth teller, was the main voice of the movement. And Brahmachi Malabari organization, a campaign for the legislation against the practice of the child marriage. And community produced many leaders such as Ferosha Mehta and Dishabai Vacha. They are the great freedom fighters, played a big role in the Congress early for the freedom movement. Ferosha Mehta and Dinsha Vacha. Now we move on to the Sikh reforms movement. Nirkaris and Nabdaris. First you should know who are the Nirkaris and Nabdaris you should know. It's a Sikh reform movement. Nirkaris, we are going to learn about the Nirkaris. It's a Sikh reform movement. Holy leader is Adigrati. Nirkari and Nandaris, Anti-Grath and Kamshat. Followed by one, Nirkaris, formless God. They worship the formless God. Urume illada amaipu. This Nirkaris was founded by Dayal Das in 1875, who belonged to the half Sikh and half Hindu community. The Dayal Das, born in 1875, is the founder of the Nirkari, who belonged to the half Sikh and half Hindu community. And in Peshawar he born. He believed that God is formless. உருவமே இல்லாதவர், கடவுள் என்பவர் உருவமே இல்லாதவர். So only it named Nirkaris. And Nandaris movement. What do you mean by Nandaris movement? Nandaris also called Kuku, K-U-K-A, Kukka. K-U-K, it's also called Kukka. And Astari sect, which Sikhism is the main language. A religion of India, Sikhism. How we are saying Hinduism, Buddhism, Islamic, Christianity, Zoroastrianism, Sikhism, like that here, there. Sikhism, Punjab language, a religion of India, formed by Balak Singh. This Nandari movement is formed by Balak Singh in 1797 to 1862. Who did not believe in any religion's rituals, whatever religion it may be. They never believe in any ritual, chadangugal, mother chadangugal, other than repetition of God's name or name. So only these people were called Nandaris. We move on into the book now. Among the Sikhs of Punjab, too, there were attempts to reform. Baba Dayal Das, I already informed, founder of the Nirkari movement, stressed the worship of God as Nirkar, formless. Rejection of idols, they never worship the idols. Rejection of the rituals associated with the idolatry. What is the meaning of rejection of rituals associated with idolatry? How we are doing? Abhishekam, Tirumanjanam for God, for the idol. We are garlanding. Each and every Tiruvazurai Ramanujar was being Abhishekam, Tirumanjanam for Shivaberuman. So like that, they won't like this Nirkari movement, won't like the rituals made for the idolatry. Reverence for the authority of Guru Nanak, they worship Guru Nanak, and of Adi Granat. They are the Guru of the Nirkaris, Adi Garnat, form the essence of his teaching. He reiterated the prohibition of meat eating and liquor consumption. That's very good news of Nirkari. How the Brahmins and many of them never used to eat meat eating and liquor consumption, alcohol. They were against that Nirkari. The Namdari movement founded by the Baba Ram Singh was another socio-religious movement among the Sikhs. The Nandari, instead of wearing the symbols of Sikhism, except the kirpan sword, instead Baba Ram Singh wanted his followers to carry a lati. Now you can see in Punjab, the Simran Singh Badal group who formed again the Congress, the group who assassinated Srimati Indira Gandhi, former Prime Minister of India, in his guest house while we are taking the documentary film of Russia. The Badal group only has assassinated Indira Gandhi. Why you know? This Badal group, this Namdari, I am saying, Namdari group, who are having this sword, afterwards only Latti, afterwards again they carry the sword. Even in the first election, after the assassination of Indira Gandhi, the Badal group stood for the election in the Punjab. They carried the sword. 5 parliamentarians elected from the Punjab, from the Badal Namdari group, and they carried the sword inside the parliament. They said, it's against our religion, we should carry the sword. We never go without the sword. Afterwards, his guru said to carry a lati, but they never said, they carry the sword only. This is the group. I want to say one information most of them doesn't know. This Namdari group only wanted to form a separate Khalistan. They wanted to remove from India, and they formed Khalistan by name, a country. They named the president in 1980-84. They're fighting for the separate country. We want to remove from India. They nominated president, they nominated the prime minister, ministers and all. So only Indira Gandhi made during the time, by using the defense minister Butta Singh, belonged to Sikhism custom, using the soldiers of the military, and assassinated many women and children, put into the holy river of the Golden Temple. So only the Badal group, this Namdari group, wanted to kill Indira Gandhi. Many women and children were crushed to death and put into the river by side of the holy temple, a Golden Temple, during the time. They only take the vengeance to kill own gods of the Sikh community. Killed Indira Gandhi when he is going for, after the trip from Assam. Here, she has been shot down to take the documentary film in his outdoors by his own God. The first chief minister of this Namdari group is former governor of Tamil Nadu and first chief minister Sudhir Singh Barnala, former governor of Tamil Nadu and friend of Kalanjar. This group, good information, I am saying this. followers to carry a lati afterwards. But even afterwards, his guru said to carry a lati. They carry the sword only inside the parliament of 1884 election. Considered both men and women equal and accepted the widow marriage. That's maybe the good news. It prohibited the dowry system. I said earlier, the female infanticide won. The Rajput kings used to kill the women, the baby, female baby, by giving some poisonous in the early age. Why you know? Due to give more dowry. So that's a fear of. So only many women have been not educated until 40 years or 42 years. They are unable to give so much property. This prohibited the dowry system and child marriage, like other social reformers. That's the only good news here. The last two lines. In the wake of gathering influence of Arya Samaj and the Christian missionary, they won't never like the Arya Samaj and the missionaries' views and all. The Singh Sabha of Amritsar was established. Its main objective was to restore the purity of the Sikhism. With the support of the British, it established Khalsa College for the Sikhs in Amritsar. In Chennai also, Guru Nanak College is there for the Sikhs people. Even the Hindus are studying there in Amritsar. Singh Sabha was a forerunner of the Akali movement. I said about the news, the Kakadi, Simran Singh Badal is the first leader of the Akali and the first chief minister of Punjab is Simran Singh Badal, and this is the group which assassinated the Srimati Indira Gandhi, interfering into the Punjab. Now we move on to the social reformers of Tamil Nadu, none other than Ramalinga Swamigal, popularly known as Vallallar or Ramalinga Adigal, Ramalinga Swamigal, 1823 to 1874, was born in Marudur, a village near Chidambaram, Sotarka district, near to Kadalur. There only Annamalai University is there. After his father's death, his family moved to his brother's house at Chennai. Despite means in spite of having no formal education, he is not having any education. He gained immense scholarship in writings and learning. Immense how Kamarajar. He never went to schools, uneducated. How became a great, his views and his reforms, his policies in ruling Tamil Nadu was good. Like that here, Ramalinga Adigal, immense scholarship in learning and in writing. Became a scholar in learning and writing. That is the meaning of immense scholarship. Ramalinga emphasized the bonds of responsibility and compassion. What is compassion? Misfortunes, how the sufferings of the believing beings express the view that those who lack compassion, sufferings, beings are hard-hearted, the wisdom clouded. He showed his compassion and mercy, the sufferings or mercy on all living, Irakka Gunam. All, not only human beings, even on animals and plants. This is he called Jiva Karunya. He established the Samarasa Veda Sanmarka Sangam in 1865 and it was renamed Samarasa Sudha Sanmarka Satya Sangam. Samarasa Sudha Sanmarka Satya Sangha, which means Society for Pure and Truth, Universal Selfhood. Ramalinga also established a free feeding house for everyone irrespective of caste at Vadalur. Free food. How in Guruvayur, how in Tirupati. Like that here, Ramalinga Diyar at Vadalur, in between Neyveli and Viluppuram. That if you have a chance, go and see. It's a very good place for this feeding, casteless. Anyone can come, any caste. Thaipoosa Tirunal is celebrated as a Ramalinga Adigala's birth anniversary. Thaipusam. In all throughout Tamil Nadu, they will celebrate the Thaipusam, even in Sriperumbudur, near to the cotton god. There is a temple for Ramalinga Adigal. If you visit, they will wear the green dhoti. The Ramalinga bronze style idol is there. Opposite to Amudam Mess. If you see there, have a chance, go and worship him. His voluminous songs were compiled, published under the title Thiruvarutpa. Ramalinga bore witness to hunger and poverty in the country. There should be no hunger and poverty. How the Buddha went out of this palace like that. I saw poor people emaciated with hunger and terrible worry, unable to wear. They never have even to wear on the top, like Buddha only. Gautama Buddha, how went out of the palace like that, hunger and terribly weary, going to every house, yet their hunger was not removed, and my heart suffered intensely. Those who suffer with relentless diseases. This is the same thing how Gautama Buddha saw. I saw them in front of me, and my heart trembled, broken into pieces by seeing the people, poverty people, unable to, on the shoulders, on the body, unable to cover the shivering. And also, they have been suffered from many diseases. You can see in the South Arcade, especially Chidambaram, Kadalur, and Neyveli, the lepers people have been seen still now more there. They will come every Saturday to every house to get the money. What is the beauty of the people know? Even they are suffering from a relentless disease. The people of each and every house will keep paisa near the floor. 20 paisa during the time. I used to know in my house, my grandmother used to keep 20 paisa, 5 paisa, and 10 paisa. The each and leopard will come in a line and take 1 coin from 5 paisa, 1 coin from 10, and 1 coin from 20 paisa. During time it was in a golden color, 20 paisa with a lotus symbol. Such they won't take all one or more, only one they used to take. Still now it's happening in Kadalur in South Arcade district. I saw them in front of me and my heart trembled. I saw those people poor of unmatched honor. Their hearts vary and I grew weak by seeing this and all. We are moving on to the final topic of Ayodhi Dasar. Pandit, we move on to the next session. Thank you very much. It's time 25 minutes over. And Ayodhi Dasar, next I will be going for Ayodhi Dasar. And continuation I will be going for the vegetation, plants and vegetation. Geography number 2. Geography number 2. Otherwise, after Ayodhi Dasar, I'll revise the first lesson. Question and answers. From the geography, you are going to have the midterm portions. Study every day. 20 minutes from the current and 20 minutes from the geography to score more marks in social. Thank you very much.